So far, we have covered several sessions. However, we have not completed any exercises. One reason for this is that, without sufficient knowledge, it is difficult to perform exercises effectively. Nevertheless, we cannot continue in this manner, as practical application and hands-on experience are equally important. Therefore, we will now work on a simple sample exercise by applying the knowledge and skills acquired so far. Let's start with this simple project for practice. In this project, already have all the necessary information available. We are now going to create and develop the project step by step in Primavera P6 reference to this dataset. Develop an understanding of the work breakdown structure, project activities, and the dependencies between activities in the sample project. Now, let's move to Primavera P6 and create this project. First, click on New Project. The project ID we assign as GH and project name will be Guardhouse Construction Project. Click Next. The planned start date for this project is the 1st of July, which is next month. Click Next to proceed. Once the required information has been entered, click Finish to create and open the project. For the project calendar, select the 7-day workweek calendar. Now that the project has been created, the next step is to develop the WBS for the project. As you can see, the project consists of 7 major WBS elements. Some of these are further divided into sub-levels, as indicated by the numbering system. Now, we are going to create these 7 WBS elements in Primavera P6. Go to the Project WBS window and start creating the WBS one by one. Before entering the names, let's arrange them in the proper order. We will assign the sequence as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Once the numbering and ordering are completed, we can proceed with assigning names to each WBS. The first WBS is Preliminary Works. Copy and paste the name here from the Excel worksheet. Similarly, continue entering the remaining WBS elements according to the project breakdown structure. Here we can add Civil as our second level WBS. Add sub-levels as per the requirements. Under Civil Works, several sub-WBS elements are included, such as substructure, superstructure, and architectural finishes. After completing the Civil Works WBS, proceed with the remaining disciplines. The next WBS is Electrical Works, followed by Plumbing Works, Doors, Windows, and Fixtures, External Works, and finally Testing and Handover. We can manage the WBS according to our project requirement. After completion, go to Activity window. If the WBS are not properly shown or arranged, then go to File menu and press Refresh. All the WBS elements are now available and ready for activity assignment. The first activity is Mobilization, which can be added under the appropriate WBS. The next activity is Site Clearance and Setting Out. Although activities can be added manually one by one, this process can be time-consuming, especially for larger projects. Exporting and importing function we'll discuss later in our upcoming session. Currently do by manually, or you can follow the tutorial instruction. However, recommend to add manually now. The activity details have already been prepared in Excel. Primavera's import function can be used to load the activities directly from the spreadsheet. For the time being, simply observe the import and export procedure. If preferred, this section can be skipped temporarily, and the course can continue with the next topic. After completing the dedicated session on import and export, return to this section to review and practice the process. Relationships can be assigned by adding the predecessor column to the activity table. To do this, right-click anywhere in the activity window, select Columns, search for predecessor, add it to the layout, and click Apply. Now, let's assign relationships between the activities. For your information, the Finish to Start relationship, which is the most commonly used relationship type and recommended in project scheduling. Review the activity sequence carefully and assign the Finish to Start relationship between the corresponding activities. Once the relationships are assigned, the activities will be logically linked in the schedule. Several methods for linking activities were explained in our earlier sessions. Please review them once again if required. Now, select all the activities and link them together by right-clicking and choosing Link Activities. By default, the relationship assigned is Finish to Start. Next, review the remaining activities and connect them using the same method. Right-click and select Link Activities. This procedure was already explained in our earlier session. Watch carefully, especially if this is your first time, as it will provide you with valuable practical experience. Similarly, start-to-start relationships can also be assigned along with a lag. The concept of lag has already been discussed in the previous session. For example, a lag of 2 days can be applied when an additional 2-day delay is required between activities. In the same way, all other relationship types can be assigned as required to establish the logical sequence of the project schedule. For now, simply complete the activities provided. Once we have completed the relevant sessions, you can return and make corrections by reviewing the schedule log and analyzing the critical path. At this stage, the purpose of this exercise is to provide practical exposure and avoid boring students by only studying software functions, tools, and theories. Practical application combined with proper knowledge is the key to mastering Primavera P6.